the way.
Thank you. All right. So we are on day 4. We're coming in on that home stretch. And the question for today is, and was and still is how do you get out of your own way? Earlier I shared how I got into, not get out of your own. What do you, excuse me, the question is, that's what we're going to talk about today is how to get out of your own way. But the question is, what are you going to stop doing this year that you perhaps did last year in your health journey? And for me, it was all about weighing myself and everything like that on like an insane amount of times a day, like 7 times a day. That's crazy. But today, yeah, I know, right? So we're not going to be doing that this year for sure. So today is such a great pleasure and honor to introduce you to our day 4 challenge speaker, Samantha. And she's going to share with us how we can get out of our own way so that way we can start seeing results in our life. And, Samantha, I would love for you to just share your story, how you got in your own, how you recognize you were in your getting in your own way and how you finally said, you know what, I'm going to step back, get out of my own way. And, share with us how people can recognize that they're getting in their own way and how they can start getting out of their way and how they can actually work with you to continue to get out of their way. So
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for having me here today. Yeah, I am so excited to talk about this because I'm passionate about it, having been so in my way and not even realizing. And it was a comfortable place to be. And so coming back to your first question there of like, okay, so how in the Sam Hill did I recognize I was in my own way? And what does that even mean?
yeah.
Right? What does it mean to be in our own way? Because there's a lot of stuff going on around in life. Life happens all at once. And so, what it means to be in our own way is to be holding ourselves back, really putting the barriers, the brakes, the reins on our own life. Maybe you're putting other people before you. Maybe you're putting other people's ideas before you. Maybe you're uh, putting on too much of those supposed tos, shoulds, need tos. And so for myself, I had spent a really long time feeling lost, wandering and wondering about like who am I? What does it mean to be Samantha? And really like how do I want to show up in the world? And so through all of that wondering and wandering around, I was trying all these things. And I've discovered over time that this word trying is really an excuse word for me to say that, oh, I was pretending to do stuff when really I was in my own way. I was in my own feelings, thoughts, beliefs, having misaligned everything because of all of the years of things I'd been told about myself and also been telling myself about myself, right?
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's this story that a lot of my clients, we talk about the reel that plays in our mind, that little movie that's always going. And it, for a lot of us, so a lot of the women I work with and myself personally, I like to really only speak about what I know. And that's that the reel was really, really negative.
Yeah.
And that comes from so much. There's so much there, like layers of an onion. We have our beliefs as a little kid, and the life that happens to us. I know that there's a lot of us out here who feel like, oh, my childhood wasn't that traumatic. However, your significant emotional stuff, it's
Yeah.
valid. It's valid as heck. And so here we are. We go along in life. We're like, all right, all right. And we get to our 20s, 30s, 40s. And we're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a business. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to, whatever it is. And all that onion layers from all the years of things we were telling ourselves and being told, we have to work through now. But that's who we are, right? That's who I was. And so I learned, and I started figuring out like how the heck do I really want to show up every day? How the heck do I want to feel every day? Because I'd spent so long not wanting to get up, not wanting to do things, feeling like, well, they have it better. Why can't I have it like that? Rather than doing the work. And so figuring out if you are in your own way, I feel like starts with a little bit more self-reflection, looking internally of like, well, is that really how I believe? Or is that maybe something that I've been told my whole life of like that I'm stupid? Well, everybody told me growing up I was stupid or dyslexic or whatever. So maybe I am, right? No, we're so much more than the things in our mind, so much more than the, oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. And so I feel like the biggest thing for me to really start to get out of my own way was getting myself out of my mind, like out of the in here thoughts and circles. The big thing I always talk about is journaling. And everyone's like, oh no, I don't journal. I hate journaling. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, but really, it's again coming back down to that conditioning of like, oh, all the years in school, I was told I have to sit down and write things. And I've got 4 minutes to write this essay. And so that little kid brain comes flooding in when here we are at 30, 40 years old, wanting to journal. Something so simple, so healing, so just get it out on paper. Get yourself out of your own way.
And how can people, and I absolutely love it, just getting out of your own way. How can people who are struggling with, achieving certain goals, like for example, their health goals, how can they get out of their own way? One, how do they recognize they're in their own way? Like you set goals, you do this, that, and the other, and then you were told like, you're supposed to look a certain way. Are you supposed to look like that person? Or we sometimes look on social media and be like, oh, I want to look like that. And I want to have a body like that. And I want to have abs like that. And I want to, all these different things that we tell ourselves or that we feel like is what we're supposed to look like or be even, quote unquote, thin or whatever. And then all of a sudden we start to perhaps maybe getting in our own way because we're looking on the outside and not on the inside. So how can people start to get out of their own way in their health?
Mm, such a good question. Yes. How we do one thing is how we do everything. I'm like notorious for saying that because you're so right. How we take care of ourselves and our health will really reflect in our business, our family, our lives, our everything. And so a really amazing way to start stopping being in your own way is to start setting boundaries with yourself. Boundaries with others seems pretty obvious, right? Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't like pink. Oh, I don't eat whatever. However, self boundaries are a little bit more. It's
Mm,
about telling ourselves, like, okay, I want to feel good. So I'm going to XYZ. I want to fit in this shirt. I want to wear this outfit. So I'm going to XYZ and really turning in towards ourselves and start setting those boundaries. Okay, so I want to do this. So I need to do X, Y, and Z. Almost like
mhm.
reverse engineering, having
Yeah.
that big goal, reverse engineer it back down. And so you're seeing, okay, there's small, simple steps to get me there. And then when it's like 2, 3 weeks into working through those steps and we're still not there, and it's like, crap,
Mm.
what? I was supposed to be, right? And
Yeah.
that's when we can ask ourselves, okay, so what's the least common denominator here of all the things that aren't working? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's probably yourself, right? Because the one thing between everything you're doing is you. And
Yeah.
so that'll be helpful to be like, okay, I can do this. It's up to me. And then starting, maybe it's reaching out.
Mm.
Maybe it's getting into a group of people for working out. Maybe it's getting into an amazing group like yours who talk about healthy living and healthy feelings. Or maybe it's getting out of groups. Maybe
Mm.
there's too much around you. And so it's once you've reversed engineered this goal, this health goal, be healthy, and really defined for yourself what that means, then you can get down to the nitty gritty of, okay, what's holding me back from accomplishing this goal? Is it me? Am I holding myself back? And then you can start doing steps to get yourself out of your own way, whatever that looks like. And I
Yeah.
want to add on to that too, something that I'm very passionate about with all of my clients and myself is coming back to your why. Knowing why the heck you do things. Why the heck do you want to get up? Why do you want to feel healthy? Why do you want to be fit? And not in a judgmental way of like, oh, why are you doing this? More
Yeah.
so in like, well, yeah, what makes me passionate about feeling good in my body? For many, many years myself, I felt so icky and uncomfortable in my own skin. And so learning to like, okay, well, they look like they feel good in their skin. So I want to do that. Oh, no, 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 no. And
Mm.
learning what it is that makes me want to feel good in my skin. What is my why? With some of the MLM ladies I work with in their getting out of their own way, it's like, well, why are you with that? Why are you selling that product? Oh, you want to make money. Okay, why do you want to make money? And for a lot of people, we don't even realize why we want to do these things. With one
Mm.
client, she wanted to do this business. And as we got through all the whys and all the whys and all the whys, it's because she wanted to provide and take care of her grandchildren, unlike she'd been able to do for her son.
Mm.
Really getting down so that she now is like soaring at
Yeah.
60 something. And she's like selling it like nobody's business because she knows why. She knows what gets her up in the morning. She
Yeah.
knows why she wants to eat healthy so she can show up for her business better. Why
Mm.
she wants to take the walk, the 5 steps, however it is for you. Getting back to that, why the heck are you doing this?
Yeah, and that is such a good question to ask, and that's something that I do as well with my clients is really dig deep into why. What is your why? Because quite a few people will say, "Well, I want to lose weight. Why?" Because of this reason or because of that reason. And I always say, have a personal reason why and not a commercial reason. Like a commercial reason is the reason why quote unquote everybody else wants to lose weight. Well, it could be, well, I want to lose weight to, for this dress, for this vacation, for this, that, and the other. But if you ask yourself, and I've noticed too, and there was a gentleman who also shared that if you ask yourself at least 7 times why, you'll get to the root reason. And it's like why, like for example, my why is every single day, my base why is because I want to feel good about myself. I want to know that I at least done something for me today to feel good about me. Now I may not be out here, in a size, whatever, or running this heavy, running something or a marathon or whatever. But today, at least I took the steps to be a better version of myself. And so that's, really digging into that why. Why is it so important for you to why is that particular health goal so important? Because I think when you answer that question why, you can go about it and approach it differently and not one self-sabotage and not beat yourself up. And I would love to know from, your experience working with your clients and even with yourself is how do you reverse engineer self-sabotaging or beating yourself up? Like, for example, say, I may have had like 5 brownies or something like that, and I feel really bad about it. And now I'm like, oh, who cares? Now I'm going to eat Chinese food and binge watch, something on Netflix. How how do I reverse engineer that and, get out of my own way and then move forward?
Yes, I've got goosebumps. That's such a good question because it's so I say it's so easy, right? To get on that, like, well, right, I ate 5 brownies, so I can have a whole pizza now. Oh, I'll just
Yeah.
work on it tomorrow. Tomorrow. Next week. Oh, one more day of vacation, right?
Yeah.
And that cycle that can get into, and again, it's that the boundaries with ourselves. First recognizing like, hey, who am I comparing myself to? Because that's a huge one. When I get into comparisons, when my clients get into comparisons, we're getting out of our why. We're getting out of what lights us up and getting into, okay, well, that lights other people up. So I'm supposed to be doing that, right?
Mhm.
Versus staying in our lane and staying in communication with ourselves. Because when the supposed to's and the, oh, I should have not eaten that many of this or whatever it is. Oh, I should have gone to the gym yesterday. So I guess I don't have to go today. It's again those boundaries and learning to love ourselves a little bit more. And almost I say boundaries and I want to take that back because it's like loving ourselves in a different kind of way. We think like, oh, I'm loving myself, so I'm just going to do whatever. And really, this true self love is holding ourselves to our own accountability, holding those boundaries to ourselves of like, I ate 5 brownies, it doesn't feel good, and now I have options. And really starting that dialogue with ourselves. I don't know about you or people watching this, catching it replay. Uh, Having that self conversation, be really honest. Like, would you really tell a 5-year-old that they suck for eating 5 brownies? No, you'd be like, ooh, let's find out how that goes, right? So what is the purpose of telling ourselves? There's a little 5-year-old inside of us somewhere, and we're telling that 5-year-old, oh, you suck for eating 5 brownies. Oh, you suck even more for eating all that Chinese now. Rather than like, woo, curious with ourselves,
Mhm.
asking ourselves, really starting this dialogue with ourselves of like, how's that gonna go, little one?
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you mentioned that internal dialogue where we just pause for a second, even after the event is done, even after, okay, I've ate 5 brownies. Okay, instead of beating myself up, let me pause for a second and just be in that feeling of, yeah, and recognize that feeling of, yeah, I did eat those 5 brownies. It wasn't the best choice, but how can I, make a healthier choice from this point? How can I, make a better choice from
Yeah,
this point on?
it's really like, how do I want to show up from here forward? I can extend what's already happened and just let it go, or I can stop that and ask myself, okay, now how do I want to show up? And let that go forward. I want to
Absolutely.
add on to that too. It's okay to not be okay. These negative feelings inside of ourselves, society is like, oh, don't be sad, oh, don't be angry, oh, don't feel feelings. And for myself, that's even still today, like I have a hard time with the big emotions. And when we're telling ourselves, oh, I can't feel bad for eating the 5 brownies, I need to stop that, it's not allowing these negative emotions to come up. And what's amazing about our negative emotions is they're warning signs from our body, from our heart, from our mind saying, hey, 5 is a lot of brownies. Please eat less next time. However, because of conditioning and thoughts and the negative reels, it comes out sometimes as, oh, I'm shitty for eating 5 brownies. And so one thing that was recommended to me that was very beneficial was to set a timer for those feelings. Okay, so you're having a hard time this morning and you have a meeting at 1 o'clock. So set that timer till noon and throw an adult temper tantrum. Cry your eyes out. Do whatever it is that you can really feel that ugly feeling. And when that timer goes off, sister, brush yourself off and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And that is so important and key because, as women, we take on so much in that we don't allow ourselves to have that moment to be with ourselves and, to honor ourselves with just having that tantrum, but we may be so busy trying to get to the next thing or trying to achieve the next level. And I know for me, to be perfectly honest, I, was trying to do, business and, maybe even life to a certain extent as, as maybe a man. And I have to realize that, yeah, you are a woman. And so you're going to have to do things a little bit differently. You're not going to be able to, you know, you have to be okay with your feelings. And that was something where, I struggled with was being okay with my feelings because I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't do this and spend time with myself. And so now, I want to I'm working on being more of that feminine, soft version of myself. I can remember a time where one of my guy friends used to call me Uncle Yaya. Hey, what's going on, Uncle Yaya? Happy Father's Day, because I had such that hard exterior and inside too. And it's like, you don't have to be that way. So now, as we fast forward years later, how can I be a more softer, gentler person? And when I'm more softer and gentler, that means I'm more softer and gentler with myself, because I noticed as I was trying to do things his way or a guy's way, I was hard on myself and beat myself up. And it was like, oh, it was a traumatic experience. Now, if I can just care for myself and love myself right in the space where I am, I may not be, at that size right now, that size 6 or whatever, but you know what? I'm okay with where I am today. And I know that I'm going to get there as I take the steps to get there.
Oh, yes, exactly. It's like it's leaning into that journey of becoming your best self rather than doing what you're supposed to or being that way. And
Yeah.
I love how you're talking about like really leaning into that feminine side and being more you and more loving on yourself. And I feel like there's so many different personalities, right? And we see all of them like, oh, I want to be like that. Oh, I want to be more whatever. And we can by collaborating more with people, by noticing our own strengths and weaknesses. Like you were saying, you were really masculine back then. You had strengths and weaknesses through that. And now, as you lean towards this more feminine side, you have strengths and weaknesses there. And we can really benefit ourselves really well by almost delegating out things. Uh, Maybe you're not as organized about things, and so you turn to someone to help you create a meal plan. Or maybe you're not so creative about things, and so you turn to someone who's much more creative about workouts or anything like that, right? Really balancing ourselves out, even though I think balance is a whole myth.
That's a topic for another day. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Samantha, just for this, this conversation of getting out of our own way so we can see results. And that is so key is, really asking ourselves, how do I get out of my own way? Really, the first question would be, how am I in my own way? What am I doing that I'm not the reason why I'm not getting the results that I want? And then second, how do I get out of my own way? And what are the steps that I need to do to get out of my own way? And I would love for people to, be able to reach out to you so you can continue this conversation of, okay, let me help you how to get out of your own way. And that is, just the start. And the wonderful thing is we're in January, so you have plenty of time to get out of your own way. And so working with Samantha, I mean, I've had a great conversation. offline with Samantha, and that's where, she's helped me to, hey, it's okay. And that's what I need at times, and that's what I feel like other people need too at times is it's okay, and let's look at how you can get out of your own way and start seeing the results that you want, and to love yourself right where you are as you journey to that
Mm.
goal. So I love it. Samantha, please tell people, we have plenty of your links in the description, but please tell people how they can get in touch with you. If you have any type of challenge or programs, please let them know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So obviously, DM me on Facebook. I'm Samantha Grider. You'll find me also on Instagram. I'm blonde is four, the number four piece. And please DM me. Let's start a conversation. Like y'all was just saying, I love chatting. My name Samantha means the listener, and so I really love listening to what's going on. Where are you? And reflecting back and helping create some clarity in the moment. Like she was saying, sometimes it really takes getting it out, having some voicing it to someone, and then you can jump forward. Sometimes as simple as a one conversation. So DM me, let's get in a chat, let's talk. I love to hop on a complimentary strategy call. Really, let's talk about where you want to go, where are you, and what's in the way. So yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Samantha, for being our speaker for today. And everyone, please make sure you reach out to Samantha on in any of her links on the social media and start that conversation today. And one thing I definitely want to say is, get a coach. That's what we are here for. We are here to help you, one, get out of your own way so that way you can start to see the results that you've been trying to figure out how to get by yourself. But if you get a coach to help you get out of your own way, then you'd be surprised how much more further along you'll be as opposed to struggling to get there. So again, make sure you reach out to Samantha. And you know what? Today's day 4. Don't forget the question, which is, what can I stop doing today? What can I stop doing that I was doing last year? And so again, answer that question, and we are onward and upward to day 5.
thank you.